Hello and welcome to the In the Money Players podcast. I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornital, back with you in the Brooklyn Bunker once again. This is our show for Keeneland opening weekend. We are recording it on Friday, October 7th. We're talking about races for October 8th. We're going to get to Keeneland a little bit later in the show. Oh, I should make this note. If you're watching on YouTube, we're doing something a little bit different. We're just going to be doing one featured piece a week on YouTube. We're going to see how this works, but there's going to be a ton more content if you go over to the podcast side, wherever you get your podcasts. Check it out. In the Money Media. You can subscribe to our house feed, get it there. You can also find the shows over at inthemoneypodcast.com. So on the bigger show, we're going to be covering the All Stakes Keeneland Late Pick 5 and all this other fun kind of stuff like that. Our friends at Woodbine, friends at Meadowlands, tons of good stuff on this week's show. But on this segment, we bring in a man who I like to describe as the usual co-host to this program. Maybe not so usual anymore, but frequent co-host to this program. Somebody we always love to hear from. You know him from the Fox America's Day at the Races broadcast. You know him from his fantastic line of men's clothing he does with our friends at Old Smoke. He is Jonathan Kinchin, coming to us from the planet Texas once again. How are things?
It feels like fall is upon us with this annoying pumpkin craze that we see very often out in the streets, but also Keeneland starting. So I'm getting dirty looks about the pumpkin comment.
Yeah, I mean, pumpkins are great. I thought you were going to make a pumpkin spice latte comment. I was going to have some sympathy for being negative about that, but I mean, pumpkins are great. What do you got against pumpkins?
They're about good. They're only good for one thing: the plastic ones for carrying candy, and then the ones you cut out and put a candle inside of them.
We did have that brilliant. Was it Lou who did that? Who we met in Saratoga, who I think you ended up giving your table to one day, who did the In the Money logo pumpkin. We got to dig that up. That was fabulous.
It's somewhere. Yeah. I do remember that.
Great stuff. All right. We're here lean and mean today, as the schedule dictates, to talk about the pick six at Belmont at the Big A on this Saturday card. There's a theoretical world in which it could be a 3-day carryover. It's a 2-day carryover going into today, Friday. Apologies for not getting a show up on that one, people. The off the turf thing just scuttled it. I had done the races for turf. Matt Vagvolgi had done the races for turf. With off turf, you really need the scratches to do the kind of job we want to do. Anyway, we weren't able to do that. Apologies. We like to do those carryover shows. Very unlikely this will be a triple carryover, but hey, you never know. It is horse racing. But in any case, I can guarantee you that the pick six will be kicking off with stakes action in the grade 3 Matron. Is it the Matron? Is that what starts this off? Of course,
it is.
I'm now lost in my notes. JK, we're going to bring you in to get your thoughts on this race. We've got these 2-year-old fillies. They're going 6 furlongs on the turf, and we've got a giant full field. Are there any particular horses that leap out to you in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, there's only like 4 that are kind of interesting to me. And the thing about this race is it's at 6 furlongs. They obviously, most of them have run previously at 5.5 at Saratoga. So there's that opportunity for them to either like it or dislike it. I'll just kind of quickly roll through it. The inside horse, the one, Don't Look Back at All, ran well, closing into a slow pace after kind of starting a little bit further back, kind of made a big middle move in that race. That might suggest that a little bit of added ground shouldn't be a problem. The 2, Dance Macabre, just has 3 fast figures that fit with this group, has gone a little bit further down at Kentucky Downs, so you'd like to think that the distance won't be an issue there. The 7, Redefined, ran a fast number after breaking slow, missing 2 lengths early, should appreciate a little bit of added ground. You got to think that figure could have been faster with a cleaner break. And the 9, Sweet Lou's Got Aces, a horse that I remember talking to Ray Handel that day, and Ray had mentioned, I think this horse might need one. And whenever they tell you they might need one, and then they almost win, I love when they come back next time around. You can expect them to run a little bit better. So 1, 2, 7, and 9 are the numbers I'm going to make sure I have.
We're very similar. My top pick, I went with Redefined, making good ground late in the Bolton Landing, and I thought that she ought to be suited by today's added ground. You mentioned Dance Macabre, too, who beat her there, came back to win again at Kentucky Downs. Plenty of stamina mixed with speed. I love that combo for this 6 furlong turf sprint. I like her chance in here. One that I'll mention that should be, I hope, a big price. Yeah, 12-1 in the morning line for number 6, Determined Gesture. I'm not sure how that Colonial Downs form is going to stack up against these, but I just thought that was a good race. 2 and 7 for me. Actually, I'll put them in order. 7 and 2 as A's. And the reason the 7 over the 2 is just, I think, because the 7 will be a significantly bigger price. and then the 6 on the backup line. JK looking to start things off a little spready, going 1, 2, 7, and 9. Race number 7 is an allowance race with a 6-pack going forward, going 6 furlongs. And I like number 2, Catch You Soon in here, who I thought had a possible pace edge, looked to be a flow upgrade coming out of the last race, attracting Manny Franco, who I really like in sprint spots like this. I did also want to give some count if things are unexpectedly hot up front to number 4, Ryan's Cat. I'll make more of a B. Not sure why this horse was so far back last time, but very interesting off that run. 3 races back. It was just enough to want to include Ryan's Cat for me at a price, but most of my action is going to go through number 2, Catch You Soon. How did you see it, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm going to use Catch You Soon. I'm a sucker for speed, especially going 6 furlongs. The 5 Life Changer I thought ran well last time. If there happens to be kind of a someone not going to the front, or if 2 Catch You Soon is not good enough to make the lead, I think Life Changer is one of those horses that could possibly get out to the front end and take advantage of that. And then the 6 Ship Sensational is a horse I've always thought was really talented, at least for this class, this New York bred class. And he just feels like the type drawn outside in the clear, been facing Stakes Company, gets Lasix for the first time, could come rolling late, while the rest of them, who I feel are a little bit questionable, could be getting a little bit tired late.
How would you grade the 2, 5, and 6, like into A's and B's, or is this another use them equally, get through it kind of deal?
Yeah, I'm going to use them equally and get through this leg.
Okay, fair enough. Grade 1 action in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic in race number 8. We're going 1.5 miles for this one. Kicks off at 4:20 Eastern. We've got a field of 7, and we've got some big names in this spot. We've got Gufo back for more. We've got Warlike Goddess, and I'm just going to dive in with my opinion here. And maybe I'm being stubborn, but I mean, I was well on record about my feelings about the ride the last day with Warlike Goddess. And it's not like she has some tremendous figure edge against this field. That's why maybe I say I'm being stubborn, because this horse will be a favorite, and there's some horses with similar figures, but I'm just going with her. I just think that she'll be ridden just a little bit more aggressively in this spot. I think Lescano fits her well, and I just think she's a lot better than what we saw the last day. I'm expecting a big run from Warlike Goddess. I think he showed some confidence leaving her at home against the boys instead of going up to face her own sex in the EP Taylor. I'm all about Warlike Goddess in this spot, JK, and I'm going to live and die in the sequence with her. Do you share my enthusiasm?
No, I'm kind of annoyed too, to be honest. I wish she wasn't running in this spot, because I don't see I don't see a day-making, month-making, year-making opportunity beating her on Saturday. I do see that opportunity if she were to win this race and then go on to the turf, the Breeders' Cup Turf, and I think you could then pick up that money there when she becomes this overbet U.S. favorite, because there's a story everyone wants to follow. I think she's really good and unbeatable against the bad bunch of female turf horses that she's been facing, which is why what happened in the Flower Bowl was so disgusting, because she was never supposed to lose that race. And she's never going to lose to those types of horses. However, when it comes to like facing these horses, she can absolutely get beat. And I think Gufo will beat her in this race. And it stinks because I want to beat her later. I don't want to beat her here. I want to beat her later. I'll single her if she runs against the fillies and the mares with real pace in front of her and not having to be kind of rank and naughty the entire race. Like, as brilliant as she is, she's not easy to ride. She's not a push button horse. She fights the rider all the way around there. And you get one of those Joel rides with a horse like this, you're going to end up in a situation we all ended up winning the Flower Bowl that you singled her. I think she's going to get beaten here. I think Gufo's going to beat her. I think she's going to invite Gufo into the race. And when you do that, he's not these other horses you've been facing. He's better than those horses. And I think Gufo will beat her in here and suck a little value out of trying to beat her on Breeders' Cup Day.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's such a different narrative. If she wins this easy, she goes there and they're taking her very seriously. If she loses to Gufo here, and Gufo's the 5th choice in the turf, you're not picking up the takeout. You're not even getting close. So I mean, it's a good point. We'll see. I mean, everything you say is right. I'm being a little stubborn. I'm going with Warlike Goddess. We'll go head to head here. Any other numbers you need, or just all about Gufo?
No, I mean, I think the way you play this race is you try to beat her or you single her. And I'm not saying she can't win. I'm just saying the price that she's going to be does not reflect her chances of winning. And I think that it's going to be for a lot of people, which it has been a majority of her career. You turn the pick 6 into a pick 5, you single her and move on, unless you get one of those rides that we all got during the Flower Bowl. I'm not. I mean, Joel will tell you that he screwed that up. Like he's when he's brilliant and he's on, he's the best rider in the game. But there is 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 races that you get one of those. Did he look at the form rides? Now that's Hall of Fame numbers, right? 8 out of 10. So I'm not complaining. And I have those bad moments too, whenever I'm doing whatever I'm doing in life. So I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that he messed that up, and that's okay. He's still a great rider.
Let's move on to race number 9. We've got these $40,000 claimers going 7 furlongs on the dirt. We've got a race that appears to have a lot of pace, and I was interested in the chances of From Another Mother, who has shown speed in the past, but I think here in the second race off the layoff should be, I'm hoping, ridden as with that outside post a little bit from off the pace, assuming others go forward as I think they will. And I'm hoping this is a horse that facing an easier group here back in the claiming ranks can get the job done under Dylan Davis for our man, Ray Handel. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, this is one of those spots where I'm going to do the tricky all but one. It's one of those races where like
you still can do that, huh?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm not using the 2-storied Ella. I just can't do it. These claiming races, what I've kind of found and something I do from time to time is you look. In stakes races, you can kind of look at horses' last couple of races and have an idea who they are. But when it comes to these claiming races, because they're switching barns and because they're switching distances and because they got claimed from them and claimed from here and moved to there and moved to here, cutting back, stretching out, they're always doing different things. Their last couple races can mislead you as to who they are and what they are capable of doing. And when I looked at these horses, man, there's like 70, 75, 80 buyers sprinkled out throughout their past performances. And I like Balthasar can run a 75. Skylander can run a 75. Win for Gold, 75. Slow Decision, small improvement. Second time Peter Walder, run a 75. Cash and Flash ran 75s on the synthetic. Hang Tight can run 75. Maximum Moment has some 83, some 79, some 80s deeper in the. And so it's and then From Another Mother can run. So it's like I don't want to try to predict which horse is going to show up on the day in a sequence where I'm going to try to beat a horse who's going to be odds on. Just give me the all but one. I don't need the 2. That horse can't run the numbers that I think you need to beat for that, especially for that outfit. A trainer who is 201 for 2,189, 9% in their career. Like they beat me there. They beat me there.
Race number 10, we move on to the turf. We've got 3 and up filly and mare New York breds. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. And I was attracted to New Guinea, not super creative. This is a horse who I would imagine is going to be the favorite, but I just like the fact that she's drawn inside. I like her body of work a lot. Seems to try every time coming into this race. Well, I think there should be enough speed to set up her late kick. Dylan Davis again for me, this time with Christophe Clement calling the shots. Who did you like in race number 10?
Well, a move I'm trying to kind of also improve on too is, I know a lot of us use AB tickets and ABC tickets, and singling horses is always one of the things I like to try to do to be able to kind of make the ticket multiple lower so that I can hit it for more times and things like that. Another move that I think is underrated is just using 2 horses in a big field and no Bs, no nothing else. Just use 2 A horses. That way you get unlucky with one of them with a bad trip. You got the other good one. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to use the 1 New Guinea and the 4 Shizamiya. If one of them loses, then I get beat in the leg, and that's fine. I was going to single New Guinea, but I want to have Shizamiya because New Guinea's style finds herself, we've seen for the last 4 or 5 starts, she just kind of always finds herself in a little bit of a pickle. And with a perfect setup, she could win this race by 3. With the wrong setup, she's 3rd. So I can't lean on her, although I think she's the best horse in the race. So I'll just use the 1 and the 4.
Christophe Clement does well in the race. JK will do well in the race. I think you make good points about the 4-runner Shizami, and I am going to officially, I was on the verge of listing as my lone backup, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. Our nightcap is race number 11. Just got a minute or 2 here, JK, to talk about this maiden claiming 40, 3 and up New York bred fillies and mares going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. I'm going to give my quick thought first, and then I'll pull you in. I just thought that Jocosity was going to get an absolutely perfect trip in this spot. I think has enough tactical speed to get good position. I don't think we'll be leading, maybe get a nice toe into the race from a horse like the 5. And I think for a runner who has among the best speed in this field, she's also got some of the best finish. I mean, this is a significant drop in class. I think she's going to get the job done. I'm all about jocosity to close things out. But I will ask you the key question when it comes to this nightcap at the Big A on Saturday. How are we going to get paid?
Well, I want to say, I don't want to correct you on something you said. I want to challenge something you said, which is something that I believe probably 60 days ago as well, until having an in-depth conversation with George Weaver about it. I agree that maiden special weight to maiden claiming is the biggest drop in racing. George has convinced me that the New York bred maiden special weight to maiden 40 is not that big of a drop, especially in turf racing.
That's fair.
And
no, I think that's fair.
I don't, we base all of our decisions typically off of results in wagering, who won the race and what the speed figure was. But like George, trainers spend time with these animals. They know the difference between a maiden 40 and a maiden special weight because they deal with them every day. And so I've tried to at least open my brain and my heart and my eyes to that idea. And I'm realizing that as many of these races, as these sequences that end in these maiden 40s in New York, it's a pretty important topic to have a grasp on.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm still working through it. But my point is that a horse like Jocosity, from a speed figure standpoint, although is dropping maiden special weight, is basically running similar numbers to like the 1 Oak Loves a Fight, running similar numbers to like the 5, running similar numbers to even horses like the 9 and the 10. And then you get the Jorge Abreu first-time starter, and he's 20% with first-time starters, and he does really well on the grass. This is a race that I'm going to be spreading in and hoping in a situation like this that George's hypothesis is actually true here, that there's not that drastic of a decision between maiden special weight droppers and state-bred maiden special weight droppers into the state-bred maiden 40s in New York.
It's a few points to me. Like, I wish I had the data. I could pull this, but I don't have time. I'm going to guess it's like a 70 to a 66. It's a drop.
Right, but then in turf racing, which is we always joke about why trainers like to gravitate towards the grass, is because they don't have to tell their owner they got beat by 17. They can say, "Oh, we got beat by 4 lengths." We're right there, because that's what grass racing is. It's a lot tighter finishes.
And it's a much bigger difference. I mean, the equivalent, I'm not sure. I wish I had the numbers, but it's at least a 10-point drop on the dirt. So, I mean, George,
we can make it an exercise. We can make it an exercise for someone to put it in the comments. So,
yes.
And whoever puts it in the comments first, whoever puts the par for maiden 40s versus maiden special weight state breds on the turf. If you put it in the YouTube comments, whoever puts it in there first, you got to somehow tell us that you put it there. Tweet Pete or I. I'll send you a JK shirt. How about that?
Wow, that's an awesome offer. All right, that's great. Yeah, we can communicate right back and forth in the comments, and we'll send you to the website, inthemoneypodcast.com. The contact link there goes right to my email. A little homework assignment for the viewers here on YouTube. And if you're listening, you got to go to YouTube to put in those comments. And hey, if you're a listener, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel anyway. There's going to be a lot of great content coming up there. Going to be using JK immensely. Now, while I agree with George's point, it doesn't put me off Jocosity at all, because the main thing I like is the situation and the trip. It was just, to be honest, sometimes you're doing a podcast and it's like something else you notice and you'd throw it out there, but that was on my laundry list of things I liked. It was at the bottom, but it's a great point and a very interesting discussion. I'm glad we were able to have today, JK. I'm sorry, in my looking up the pars myself, I didn't write down your spread. So give me your spread here.
I'm going to spread 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, 11.
Any grading, or just pop them all in there?
No, I'm going to see. That's the thing. People will say, well, if you don't like the favorite, not people, 3 people will say, why, if you don't like the favorite, why are you using the favorite equally to these other horses? Well, because that is my opinion, that the favorite is vulnerable. So in a normal situation, if I love the favorite, I would have the favorite as a single A, and I would have more combinations with the A horse. But because I think it's equal, that is actually my opinion, is that horse is much closer to these other longer priced horses. And if I beat Warlike Goddess and and then I hit my two horse race with the Clement situation, and I catch another price somewhere else in the all but one leg. I don't want to get beat by Jocosity. I'm simply saying that Jocosity is not the slam dunk maiden special weight dropper that some might assume, and that I have equally done that a ton of times, thinking that maiden special weight dropper is going to beat a horse who's tried maiden 45 times and couldn't win.
JK, always fun having you. We're going to have you a lot more this month. We will be talking soon.
Just me.